Hi guys, what's going on? Long time since I've made a video. And what's prompting me to make a video today, just a quick update. First of all, I do my videos now kind of like whenever somebody needs like something about psychology, like for example, oh, I have a question about this or I want to learn about this, I'll make a video. I don't seem to really be wanting to make videos regularly anymore. There may be coming a time where I would want to. I don't know yet exactly what is the best way to do, what the best thing to do with that is. So as of right now, my videos are going to be erratic. Now, let's get to the point. I had a question, and the question was basically, there was a person who has choking phobia like I do, and what they're trying to do is, well, they're asking me, how did I get over it, right? They briefly explained to me their story of, well, I have choking phobia, and I'm not sure how long it's been. It's been long, I'm assuming, and it was brought on, I guess they said, by the fact that they were eating pizza and it went down, I guess it went down the wrong pipe, and so there was a sensation of choking. So first thing off the bat, what I want to say is that we need to understand, was that a choking episode or not? And honestly, scratch that. That's me wandering. What we need to understand is, how does someone get relief from something like that, right? Well, the first thing we gotta understand is that when someone's asking me the question, how did I get over choking phobia? I haven't gotten over choking phobia. I don't use words like gotten over, cured, better, well. And I'll tell you why. Because anxiety is something that's going to be in someone's life, okay, in different degrees and intensity for their entire life. Anxiety is something that everyone feels. It's incredibly common. Everyone has it. And we can't just hope for a magic bullet. Now, what we can hope for, though, is a gradual reduction in the levels of anxiety, right? I talked earlier in my videos about clinical, subclinical. So the first thing I want to get across here is that excuse me, what makes you think you're going to live a choke-free life? What makes you think that you're never going to choke, even once you've gotten over your choking phobia, right? This is just a simple question you got to ask yourself. Choking is something that happens to people, right? Regularly. 40,000 people have died in the United States approximately of choking every year, from hot dogs. So the food is one of the things we got to understand, right? Certain foods are more choke prone, or we've got to weigh the evidence of certain things. It's not like, it's not like, if I get over my choking phobia, I'll never choke, because there's no evidence of that. The evidence is that if you get over your choking phobia, your fear of choking, right, will decrease, because you'll have to understand that your original fear of choking is at an irrational level. It's at a higher level than it needs to be in accordance with the anxiety. Second thing to understand is that when you eat, right, if you, for example, is another thing besides hot dogs is chewing your food to in a kind of like not chewing your food and just swallowing it whole, in a way, is another way of choking. Large pills, right? Talking, being distracted, right? Those are things that can lead to a person choking. Food eating contest, right? So we gotta understand that, and you can also choke on. For me, a big thing, to a certain extent, somewhat still is the plastic, right? When you're opening, like, for example, a TV dinner, you gotta take the plastic off. I'm very careful with the plastic because you gotta be very careful. Because in terms of, I heard a story of someone who accidentally choked on some of that, and they survived. The point is, though, that's not something someone wants to do, choke, right? And we all can agree on that. So moving on from that, we gotta understand, number one, that you're not gonna live, like, what guarantee is that you're gonna live a choke-free life? What we want to do is get the levels of anxiety lower, right? And then the brain will kick in, okay, if common sense will kick in, right? Don't, as I said, those risk factors. Basically, anyone with any, everyone basically would know this. So, the next thing I want to get across is that the choking phobia is a mask for a deeper issue at play that you have. For me, it was the fact that I had sex with a close family member, and also the coming out process was very difficult for me to be a bisexual male. Those are the things that are what your body and your brain is trying to tell itself or tell you. Thing is, though, it's too traumatic to talk about. It's too sad to talk about. That we'll start to create phobias to mask that. That's what at least from my, it's like when I saw a reduction in my anxiety levels, and I'll get to that in a second, is that once the anxiety level started going down, and I started, for example, writing down all my thoughts, like simple thoughts, small thoughts, like, for example, the lyrics to a song, and then, like, I'm gonna choke, and then a thought like, some random thought about something completely random, like, I don't know, she is going to do this. How you have those random thoughts, and then like and then there. I would literally just list all my thoughts on a piece of paper like this while I was eating, doing my exposure. What I found is that eventually the thoughts were all coming down. They were all kind of leading to a deeper issue, right? They weren't necessarily leading to, like, choking phobia. Does that make sense? They weren't necessarily leading to simply the fact that I don't want to choke and die. They were leading to something deeper, which, as I said, it was it's difficult emotions to bring up, and so you need to understand that. Okay. Second thing is that the way that I saw a reduction in my anxiety levels was by doing something called graduated exposure therapy. And graduated exposure therapy is a process whereby you do exposure. So the first thing you do is list, let's say, 10 scary foods you want to attempt. From, I would say, like, the softest, right? Muffins, soup, cheese, right? Going your way up to, like, more and more harder foods, right? For example, I don't know, potato chips, bread, right? I know sweets for a lot of people. Like, I have a sweet tooth, so that helped a lot. Like, sweets. You work your way up to a progressive hierarchical chart, right? Up to bread, up to the higher foods, steak, hot dogs, right, meat. And what you do is you list them all down. You list about 10 of them. And then what you do is you say, okay, I'm gonna attempt the easiest one first, right? So whatever it was, soup or what was it? Let's go with soup, right? And what you do is you document it. So I find the best way is through video journaling. That's why I was doing video journaling and broadcasting it. So if anybody else had this, they can see this in real time, the anxiety coming down. If you don't feel comfortable doing video journaling, you can also write it down in like a notebook. Like write down, for example, first thing you write down is exposure, the number out of 0 to 100 that you feel in that moment when you have the soup in front of you, right? Or if you before when you're preparing it, whenever you feel that you're going to commit yourself to do the eating of the soup, what number do you feel that you will choke? 70 out of 100, 80 out of 100, 90 out of 100, 95 out of 100, 100 out of 100. Put a number to it, right? And so let's say it's 95. Then the next thing you do without anything else is take the soup, right, with the spoon and put it in your mouth and eat it. Okay? And then you look at the number. You try to see if the number is going up or down, right? Most of the time it goes down. The only time it would go up is if you've done too high of an exposure. For example, if the soup was too much, so you do something even easier than soup, perhaps one of your favorite foods, or if that doesn't work, something really, really soft, something really, really, cooked really, really, really fine. I can't think of anything at the moment, unfortunately. Just something soft though, right? Something that you've listed that perhaps could be easier than soup, right? And so you do that, and you see where your level of anxiety is at that point. Once you've eaten a bite of it, right? You stay with it. You sit with it. You literally just sit with it. As my psychologist said, he basically, we had a exposure in the thing where we brought Wendy's. We had it delivered to the therapist's office, and he literally just he basically just said eat, right? Like, please eat, like in a hospitable manner, like please eat. And this is where you just kind of have to trust your therapist. If you don't have a therapist, you just have to trust this method. Okay, it's called exposure, graduated exposure therapy. You have to trust it. If you don't want to trust it, then I don't know how else I can help you, because, as I said, I've seen reductions in my levels of anxiety. So with that being said, over time you'll see, if you watch my videos, if you sort by oldest to newest, you'll see my older videos, my anxiety levels will be around 75, 80, and it'll come down to perhaps like 60 or 70. It may come from like 75 to 70, or 95 to 90. And then if you watch those videos, they're really boring. I'm sorry, they're really, really boring, because it's just me chewing food and eating it and just writing down numbers. If you watch them though, okay, if you watch the videos, you will see what I'm talking about with the exposure therapy. That's how you basically do it. And you see the numbers come down. You do it every day. Like I just had to do it every day. I said to myself, I'm going to do it every day. I got to take my mental health seriously, and that's how you eventually see it coming down, the levels of anxiety coming down. So another thing I want to say is that, I'm gonna edit it right there. That's it. That's perfect. That's anything else? Any other questions? Let me know. Remember, guys, stay with it.